I'm just getting my host back so that I can share my screen with everyone and we can begin with there we go. We're back to normal. Lovely to see all of you with us. Thank you, Harry. Much appreciated.
Thank
Now,
you. Bye-bye.
bye. Right, let's share my screen and we're going to be talking about not only mementos, but household things that we've got, things that we like and they've got lots of memories for us. And I don't really want to part with that, but what can I do with it? And so this is what this lesson is all about. And please feel free to share any time with us because it's a nice smallish class, and the more we interact with each other, the more we learn. I've learned so much in the 2 months that I've been with Get Set Up. I've got some lovely ideas for all sorts of things from all the people who are in my classes, and that is awesome. So let's have a look and see what we're doing today. I live in Australia. I come from South Africa, and 3 years ago I moved to Australia. I'm an educator for 44 years. I'm still doing educating children to speak English. And I really enjoy creating and making things, turning things from the one where they are to something else that is usable, useful, and also beautiful. I have a great love of animals, and that's why I do my two series, one on African animals and one on Australian animals. And I so enjoy being a guide because I can interact with my peers, and that is really special indeed. So I hope that you're going to enjoy today. Now, I wonder what these were before we turned them into something else. The first one at the top is an old bicycle tire, just painted very nicely with white acrylic paint. And then you go to your glazier and you ask them to cut a mirror to fit inside the tire. And it makes it look really interesting. And if you were a cyclist when you were younger and you've got lots of lovely memories of cycling, use a tire. And every time you walk past it, you think, oh, this tire, I remember I used it when my children were small, or I used it when whatever. And that is so, so special to be able to do that. Um, there's a second good thing about that. If by any chance the mirror should drop off the wall, and when it lands, it doesn't necessarily break because it bounces. The tire gives it a bit, so you've got a quick bit of leeway. If you see it going down, as it as it touches down, you can grab, and you don't necessarily break your mirror. So there is a second thing, but you can really make it into something attractive and a different way of using your tire. An old ladder can be used in many different forms. You'll see it a few times in some of my different classes in the different uses. It's not too wide. So if you've got a space that you need to, maybe you want to put something that you can display stuff on, or even in the bathroom, you can just put your ladder, get a few planks. You can either hang a cloth over the planks, or you can varnish the planks so that they look nice, sand them down, give them a little bit of a sanding, and then just varnish them, make them look really attractive. It's nice to use the old ladder as it is. It's a feature. It's got paint from the old house. It's got this, it's got that. So you don't need to do anything to it. It's there as a memento. And then you can put, if it's in the bathroom, things to do with the bathroom. If it's I use it outside as well. If we're having a few friends, we've only got a small patio. So if we're sitting at the little table, there's not enough room to put the food and ourselves and everything on it. So what I do is I set up the ladder, put a few napkins over the ladder, and place the food on the ladder. Then people can go and help themselves, and it's there with us, but it's not taking up the space on the table. So it can be used in so many different ways. You can put plants on them. You can just, the sky's the limit what you can use your ladder for. Um, your old cheese grater. What do? You toss it. It's starting to look a little bit rusty. It's starting to look a little bent. What can I do with it? Ah, you just paint it the color that you want in your bedroom. You can put some of those cup hooks on the bottom, just 4 cup hooks to give it little feet with a wooden ball on top to make it attractive. Or you can just have it standing by itself on there. And then you can hang all your earrings. You'll be surprised how many pairs of earrings you can hang on that cheese grater, because they're 4 sides, and you can have the ones I usually use, the ones that are my special ones, the ones that I don't use very often. And so you can arrange your earrings. I want some earrings, toilet round. Oh yeah, that's the pair I want. And you've got them. So it's a very useful thing to hang your earrings on. And it looks so attractive when you've painted it a color that you want. An old cup and saucer. My mom gave me a cup and saucer that my grandmother had. I love my cup and saucer, and it stood on a shelf for years just gathering dust. And then I thought, why? I love this cup. Can't I turn it into something else? Keeping the beauty of it, not changing anything in it. I made it into a candle, put some lavender scent because my grandmother loved lavender. And so if I want to use it, if there's lights are out, I get this beautiful lavender scent, whether it is lit or not. You get the lovely scent coming out of it. And when the scent starts to sort of fade, you can always use a drop of essential oils, the lavender essential oils. It then is absorbed into the candle wax, and you get that lovely aroma still coming back out again. So it really does work nicely, and it turns it into a feature rather than just being a dust collector on the shelf.
Mhm.
And the last one on this particular page is your old kettle. The element has now gone on the kettle. Oh, it's such a lovely kettle, and I've used it for years and years, and my friends have come for tea and coffee, and it's been really great. Turn it into a wonderful little 1 fish or 2 if you've got small fish bowls. And
Hmm.
this fish bowl will then be a feature, very easy to clean. The cat can't get its paws in through the top because it's got a lid. There's enough air going in through the spout. So the fish is happy. The cat isn't so happy, but at least your fish is able, and it becomes a really beautiful feature in your home. Any ideas, any thoughts?
I
Anybody?
really like the cup hooks that you. I was wondering what you put on the feet of the grater. That's really.
Just cup hooks. They work
Yes.
wonders as feet for anything. Um, they are the most useful piece of equipment. Most people just either toss them if they're not using them, or they go into a drawer and they're left there forever. Oh no, they can be the feet for all sorts of things.
Did
And
you
you
have?
could take and make a terrarium out of the coffee pot.
Yes, certainly. Certainly. Yep. Yeah. Your coffee pot, particularly the plunger one's lovely, because then you can actually keep your fish in there while you're emptying out of quite a bit of the water. And if you've allowed water to stand previously, you can then add that water, and your fish isn't even disturbed in its little home. So that's a very good idea. Yes. Definitely. So there are so many things. A coffee pot that you put on the percolator as well, a lovely way of doing it. Any other ideas or thoughts? Right. Let's go into just some everyday household things that you've got. Forks, knives, spoons. some of them might be silver, some of them might be bronze that you've got from way back when. I've got some that are at the actual spoon itself is made of an old coin and I've collected ones from the years when my children were born and myself, and they just sit in a drawer. For what? They're not going to be used. They're too beautiful for that. I've bent them and turned them into key holders or car key holders. Anything can be any hook, a hook for anything. And a strong glue holds it very, very well. And you can hang up your different things and you can make it a feature. They can come down the wall. They can all be next to each other. It's entirely up to you as to your end finish that you are wanting. And you can really turn it into something special. An old picture frame. We have picture frames of pictures that we've had from long ago, pictures that we've had from all sorts of times. What do we do with those picture frames? We either toss them or they get stored and stacked up in the garage or up in the loft. Why? There's so many things you can do with a picture frame. I've taken an old picture frame here. Oh, I didn't take the picture frame out. And I've kept the glass. I've put board at the back, and I've put pictures of the family, all sorts of pictures of the family into it. And then as they grow up, as the grandchildren grow up, as they get married, the older children get married and so on. So we change the pictures. These pictures are changed regularly in here, depending on what pictures have been sent from all over the world to us from the different family members. My husband has a big family. He's got 9 children. I've got 2. So between us, we have 11 children. And so we have lots of pictures being sent to us of grandchildren, of children doing different things. And then we all down the passage, we have a series of picture frames, and I've got all the pictures up in the picture frames, but they are continuously changed. So and now what do I do with the ones I've taken out? Those now become trays. And now I've got all my trays to take my coffee, my tea, if I want to sit on the bed or I want to sit outside or anything like that. My picture frames have now become very, very useful trays. And they really do work so well. You can either put a piece of board across the back of them to make it really secure and firm and be able to hold a good weight. And the glass in front protects it from getting any of the pictures getting ruined. So it's a lovely way of making use of an old picture frame. If you don't want to put pictures in it, you can put pretty wrapping paper. You can put sticky paper. You can find magazines. If you are a person who loves flowers, and you've got lots of old magazines of flowers that are growing. You can go through, find all the flowers that you really like, cut them out nicely and put them into your frame. Now, when you're taking your tea, you can sit and you can look at the flame and say, that flower is so pretty. I wonder what its name is. Or you can name the flowers. Or if you've got friends, you can talk about the tray. It becomes a feature. And so then it is something really special. So there are so many ways that you can do it. Your old baking tray. What do you do with an old baking tray? Oh, I don't know what to do with it. I don't use it anymore. You can use it for a number of things. You can put anything small in it. You can have it on your desk and it can have your gem clips in it. It can have your paper fasteners. It can have the, I don't know what to call them. You put the pinboard pins, anything like that you can put. So everything that you need for working at your desk, if you've got a small drawer at the top of your desk that can't really hold anything, that's ideal. You can put all the things you need in there, put it in the drawer, and then you've got it. And it's easy to open, easy to see. And so it makes it really nice. You can put earrings in it, you can put your rings in it, you can put all sorts of things into those. So you don't have to always leave them as something to bake with. In my gardening one, you'll see I use them in the garden to put your plants into. So there are so many different things to do. The last one is this actually was a hot tray. And I took the middle piece out of the hot tray because it was broken and didn't work. And I've put into that toothpicks for small knives and small things. If for the longer knives, I used skewers. So the skewers stuck quite far out of it. They became a feature and they were firmly in there. And then because skewers are so much taller, I put thin plywood. I just, the balsa wood that you use for models, I just got a few strips of that, painted them the same color as the base, and put them in so that they gave a bit of side so that it was easier to hold the skewers in. But I didn't use very long skewers. I used skewers about this long. And by putting in that extra little piece, it meant that the skewers didn't move around very easily. And then you can put your knives into it. It becomes a cutting block. And you can keep all your sharp knives in there very safely. As long as there are no grandchildren around, then please put it high, because otherwise they are inclined to be inquisitive and want to see what's in there. The last thing we're going to talk about on this particular page is the old shoe holder. You used to hang it on the back of the door and hang your shoes in it. One shoe, one shoe, one shoe, one shoe, and you could take them out. Well, I've now got it in the kitchen, and into that I've got different snacks and all sorts of things, little things that we want to keep. My grandchildren love going in there because they can see all sorts of snacks and they can choose one, but you can do it for yourself. My husband, when the children aren't around, we've still got those there. And feeling a little peckish, can I go and see what's in the little snack tray? And you can put all sorts of things into your snack holders and then just take one out as you want it. They hold even a little tin of tuna can be held in there. There are lots of things. You can get your biscuits and cheese that you get in little foil wraps. Those can go in there. The little biscuits with a little chocolate dip that you can dip, they can be in there. So you can put a variety of things there, and then they're not up on the shelf and you forget all about them and they go stale. So if they're here when you open the door, there's your variety of snacks to eat. Any questions, any thoughts? Okay, right. Let's go.
The
Now,
picture frames could be used to have, if you put your dried flowers. If you
oh,
want to dry
yeah.
flowers,
Oh,
you can use the
yes.
picture frame for that.
Marlene, that's a brilliant idea. Yes, you can have pressed your flowers and put them into there. They will look stunning. Yes, that is a beauty. You can do. Now that's another one. You see, this is where
Mhm.
we learn from each other. That is a lovely idea. Really great. So now you see the people's juices are going. Now people are starting to think, but you could use it here, or you can use it there. And
Yeah.
so it is all coming together. So that is awesome. Right. Anybody else with ideas? Here are some more fun ideas. Your cheese grater again. You can turn it into a lampshade. It gives you a lovely diffused light coming out of your cheese grater. And you just hang a board above it or the electrics on top, and you've got your light coming out from underneath it. An old suitcase. It's traveled the world with you. I don't want to let that suitcase go. I really am. I'm attached to that suitcase. So hang it on the wall. put a couple of shelves into it, and now you've got a wonderful cupboard. And all you do is click it closed and open it, and there are all your fun things that you want to put inside. Put a mirror on the front of it, and away you go. I've now got a mirror and a cupboard. It's my new favorite cupboard, made out of my suitcase that I really don't want to part with, but maybe I have to. So there goes an idea. Another idea with your suitcase is all your wrapping paper, your Christmas, birthday, 4th of July, any kind of wrapping paper. You can then put all of that, because it's the right length, to put your rolls in, put a pair of scissors and some sticky tape with it as well. Oh, I've got a parcel to wrap. Up comes the suitcase, open the case, everything is there. You haven't got rolls falling out on your head from the cupboard above, which is what normally happens to me. I open one thing and out come the rolls. They moved a little and they come shooting out, and you end up with a roll on the head. So there are lots and lots of things you can do with your old suitcase. You can also turn it into a dog bed, which I had on the very front page, because it's got your smell. The dogs and cats love it. It becomes their favorite home because you are there. Right. Now, the middle picture is using a picture frame again, and you'd use little baby pigs. You can use big pigs, but you can use those lovely little baby pigs that you can just put them on with that, and you can continue to change the pictures. One of the ladies in class said that her son's girlfriend took a photo every month, and then every month put up a picture for one for each month of them as their relationship grew. Now, a lovely idea if you've got grandchildren is from each month get the family to send you a photo if you can't see them. If it's like I am, I've got children in South Africa, I can't see them. I get pictures instead, and I talk on Zoom, obviously, and I talk on my iPhone on FaceTime. But you just take those pictures and you change them, and you can see then at a glance how they are growing. In January, they look like this. Wow, in December, they're looking like this. They've really changed. They've become a character. And so you can watch their growth that way. And it's just another lovely way of presenting your family. You can be any members of the family. You can be sisters, brothers. Oh, look how old we're getting. Or, gee, how did he stay so young? And so you are able to have your characters going with you. So that's just another way of using a picture frame. Yes, Nancy.
There is a question from Mickey. How did you attach the mirror to the suitcase?
I put a bolt into the wall. I put 2 bolts into the wall, and secured it so that it was nice and heavy. And then inside, I made a little frame out of wood. I love working with wood. I made a frame the right size and put shelves onto the frame, which then secured very comfortably into it.
Oh no, it was how did you get the mirror attached to the front?
Oh, I
of the
stuck it.
suitcase?
I just stuck it on with strong glue. You can get these really strong cement type glues, and I just glued it on the front. And I chose a mirror that was sort of beveled on the edges so that it made a really nice show. So that's how I put that together. The picture frames and clothes, attaching the mirror. Thank you. Perfect. Now, let's see. How many of you played tennis or squash when you were younger, and you've got that old tennis racket sitting in the garage or up in the attic, or the squash racket, or even a badminton racket? And then what you do is take out all the strings, because they're old and they're not going to go anywhere, and put a mirror inside. Put them on the wall. You've now got a feature, and every time you walk past, you think, oh, I remember I beat him at that match the one day. That was my favorite time, was when I was able to beat whoever it was. So it really does make for a lovely time of remembering things. And the last one on this particular page is books. We have hundreds of books and we haven't got a bookshelf big enough to keep them. So they get put in boxes and they get put in the attic. But you know, there was a book I once read. Now I wonder where that book might be. Take the books and you can make a small table, a big table, or even a counter. You turn the book so that you can see the spine of the books. And then looking at the spine of the books, you can find whichever book you want. You put a glass top on top. So it's a little bit thing. You lift the glass off, you take whichever book you want out, you replace it with another book, or it doesn't actually matter if there's a gap somewhere, and you put it back on. When you're finished with the book can go back in there, and it's a lovely way of keeping your books. It's a space saver because now you've got a table as well, and so it's being used for two things at the same time. So it really does make a super way of doing things. Right. Any questions, any queries, any ideas? Right. Let's continue. Now, what do we do with our old teacups, teapots, beautiful cups that we've got, even egg cups? What do we do with our old colanders and our old watering cans? What do we do with those? They sit on a shelf. They look very beautiful. They gather dust and we've got to wash them. We've got to clean them. And then we pack them away very nicely in beautiful soft paper and we forget about them. Rather turn them into little gardens. You can make an indoor garden using all the different cups and plates and teapots that you've got. And using succulents, you don't have a problem with watering because the cups don't have a hole at the bottom, nor does your teapot. You'd never be able to use a teapot with a hole in it. So what you do is put succulents in there and then you just spray water those. So it doesn't then get drowned because there's not too much water around the roots. And you are able to then do what you need to do. We also have colanders. Your colander, you can fill your colander with sand. There are little holes in the colander. Don't let too much sand out. If they've got slightly bigger holes, take some fine mesh. Put fine mesh in there. And with fine mesh, it doesn't allow the soil to come out, but allows the water out. And you can hang them up and they really look lovely if you fill them with brightly colored flowers. You can paint them with acrylic paint and have them any color you would like. Your old watering can, paint it up nicely. And then what I did was I took ivy. And when I put the original soil in, I fed the roots of the ivy or the back stem of the ivy down the spout of the ivy, of the watering can, and then anchored it in the soil. And then added extra soil for my top plants. So then I had my top plants coming out the top, and the ivy poured out from, so it looked like water was pouring out of the spout. And it really does look so attractive when you do that. You also can do just so many things with your old deep cups, saucers, plates, any of those you can use in beautiful ways. Anybody got anything they'd like to say?
Hmm.
Oh, I heard
I like
a
your
nice.
idea. I like your ideas for your teacups that you put the succulents in. We have a women's tea group. That would be an excellent. Those would be excellent
Wow,
gifts to do, especially because we could put
absolutely.
aloe in them.
Of course, of
Hmm.
course. You can put anything in them, and it only grows as big as the space that it's got. So it won't get too big in there. The roots won't go too far. And but because you spray it, you don't end up having it drowned, because that's the biggest problem in something where there isn't a hole for it. So hopefully you've got some ideas now for what you can use. Right. Now, your grandchildren have come along and you want to remember some of the things to do with them. There are a couple of ideas. The first baby shoe, you can stuff it and then use it as a pincushion. And I've even seen people put toothpicks into it. And then people can have it, can be a feature on the table. You can take bits of fabric that was used in their baby clothes and so on and make a soft book for them. Then they've got color, they've got texture. It depends on if you are into sewing. That's a lovely idea to do. For the crib or the cot that you've had in the house, now they've grown up and that they still come to visit, or even if they don't, I need a desk in this room. What am I going to use? Take one side off the cot, you've got a perfect desk. Put a base, nice firm base onto it, and you've got place to hang things. Your chair fits underneath it very comfortably. It's perfect. It makes a wonderful desk. You can hang a board on the side so you can put your to-do list, and it gives you lots of space to put things in. The only thing you don't have is a drawer, but you can put a little set of drawers on the side and you've got your drawers. So it really isn't a problem as such. You've also got your purity jars. There are two ideas of using, well, they don't have to be purity jars. They can be pickled onion jars, but obviously if you're doing something to do with children, it would be purity. You can take a photo of the child each year and then laminate the picture, making sure you keep a bit of lamination all the way around. Otherwise, the water can get in. And you can attach it to the bottom of the lid of the jar. Then you add a mixture of glycerine and water, and I do put the recipe in for you, into it, and then you can put some glitter. And so you make a snow cone. And then you've got your snow globe going each year. You can put them up on the mantelpiece of from when they were a baby to now they're 21. You can have all of those, and it's a talking point. They come and they say, when was that? How old was I then? Oh, wow. Goodness, did I really look that ugly when I was a baby? And so you have got this, and it's a lovely memento. You can also give it as a gift to somebody. You can make it as a Christmas snow globe for someone, putting a special picture, maybe a memento picture of you and them when you went to a function or you were away on holiday or something like that. You can then make a snow globe out of it using old photos. So that is a fun way of doing it. And then the last one is a changing table. Take it outside and use it as a potting table. It's got lots of shelves on it. It's got an area where you can put water into and soil, and you can do your potting very comfortably without having to bend over in order to do your potting. Any questions?
Nice ideas.
Right. Now, hobby corner. How do we store things? How do we keep things? What can we do with things? Well, an old piano. If you've got a really big wall and you don't know what to do with it, and your piano is long gone, can't be used, that you really can't tune it anymore, turn it sideways, put some shelving into it. It becomes a beautiful feature on the wall. You have to have a fair sized wall for that, but if you're a musically inclined family, that's a lovely way of keeping it. You can also take your guitar, take the front off a guitar, and then put shelves in it again and make it into a shelving unit. Any old musical instrument of the string instruments, you can do that too. You can also take an old gone blank, cross stitch ring, and with a little bit of stitching yourself, you can make little pockets and pull it tight with the cross stitch ring. And now you've got a place to keep your scissors and all your little tools that you need for your sewing. And then you can hang it up on the wall whenever you need it. You just take it off the wall because it looks like a wall hanging, but it's got everything that you need in it. And so that makes it really special and nice. You can use old crates, paint them up nicely, put them one on top of the other. You've now got a beautiful shelving unit to put little mementos and things that you want to into it. An old shirt, you can sew the bottom up, make it quite tight, make the shoulders sort of quite tight as well, and you can use it as a peg bag, you can use it as a knitting bag, you can use it as all sorts of things. And then you just pick it up, you can make a little strap over the top, pick it up by that. Now I've got a bag for all my sewing, but I can remember my shirt. We wore this when we went here, or I wore this when we went there, and it's got lovely memories for you there. A stool. What do I do with the stool? I don't really want to throw it out. Turn it upside down. Put all your wrapping paper in it. If you're a person who sews, put some of your material, if it's still on the roll, can be in there. Anything that is rolled up can go in the upside down. Put little runners underneath, very simply add some runners, and it can be wheeled around anywhere that you want to use it at the time. All the extras that need to go with it, you just put them on with Velcro and they hang on there, and it's an all-in-one. The last one is if you've got limited space, you can put up a little pegboard and you can use your tin cans. You can use all the different things and little dowel sticks there to be able to keep everything in one place, nice and secure. So that's also just a nice way if you do hobbies. My room looks like, I'm not quite sure. In fact, I've got 2 rooms now of all the different things I'm making to be able to show in some of my other classes. So including tin cans that have got material on them that look absolutely stunning to give away as gifts. So there are all sorts of things you can do. Now, in one of my very first classes, somebody said, what do I do with bottle tops? I've got hundreds of bottle tops, but I don't know what to do with them. So I did an investigation and I came up with some awesome ideas. You can put them around a picture frame and they can all be there, particularly if it's a type of drink and you can collect something, maybe you drink beer. Then for your little pub, you make a frame of all the different beer bottle tops that you've got. Then when your friends come, they say, oh, there's my beer, I drink that. Or it can be from a party where everybody says, oh yes, we remember when we had our 60th birthday. All those were drunk at the 60th or the 70th birthday, and it brings back memories. So you can put it around a picture, you can have it square, you can have it round, you can turn it into a very gentle wind chime. When they rattle together, it's a very gentle sound as they rattle. Really, really beautiful. You can put a piece of cork underneath or a piece of plastic underneath, cut it into the shape you want, and it becomes a lovely holder for your coffee cup so it doesn't ruin your table. You can also make a tabletop out of them with designs of all the different types of bottle tops you've got. You can really create amazing designs. And then just putting a little bit of the clay cement in the bottom, you then stick them in, and once that has gone hard, you've got a beautiful top to your table. Doesn't have to be quite as big as that one. You can also make a bird bath, a bird feeder, I should say, or even a bird house out of it. So that also makes for great ideas. And you can play Chinese checkers with them. You can play drafts. You can play lots of games with your bottle tops. And you can create your board by just matting paper together. And that then will be able to make your board as well. Any questions? Right. Now, in my first class that I do, I show you a pegboard, but just a picture of it. And the people that were in the class said, oh, I'd love to make a board like that, a pin board like that. So I have, as part of what I give you as your takeaway, I show you how to use a picture frame and turn the picture frame into a pin board. using corks, all different types of corks. You can either cut your corks in half and put half a cork on it, or you can keep them as whole corks. And you can use tops of corks, so you can cut your cork so that you're seeing the round tops. And what I suggest is that you take your picture frame that you've chosen and you then place them in before you stick them in, and see whether it's the design you want, if it's the way you want it. When you're happy, then you can put glue at the back and put them in. You can then make decorations. Those decorations at the top are made out of cork. And at the bottom, there's a champagne cork at the bottom, maybe from a very special occasion. And then you make a little flower using little cork pieces, and you just color them with your marker pens. And this, I explain exactly how to do it. So you get it and you can see and you can design and you can make the most beautiful cork board made out of wine corks. You can buy wine corks online. You can have a whole lot that you've got, or you can go to your local pub and ask them to keep the corks if they use bottles of wine that have corks in them. They will keep them for you, and you can go and collect them once a week or once a month from them. You'll be amazed how many corks they will collect for you. And that is the best way, because also if you've got corks from home, they have all got a really special meaning for you, and you are able to use them. Right. Has anybody got any questions? Anybody got any ideas?
What do you
Right.
do? Do you have any good uses for buttons?
Buttons, yes, I do
all
use
types.
buttons on a number of things. Buttons I would be using in my plastics class. Upcycling plastic, because most buttons are plastic. So yes, there's a page all about what to do with buttons in there, where I give you button ideas. So if you look for the upcycling plastic class, you will find buttons there. I think it's sometime next month, this month. I just haven't seen my final, what they've put in as my final lessons for each week yet. So I'm not sure when they are.
Mhm.
But yes, buttons have lovely uses for buttons. So my mum had a button box, and it was a metal button box, and there were choir boys on the front. I'll never forget that box. I spent hours digging through the button box, finding how many of each type of button I could find. And it kept me busy forever. So buttons are wonderful. And your grandchildren can certainly use them to sort through as well.
No, you can't be doing this shit tonight.
Any other ideas? Anybody got anything else?
May I
Right. Yes.
I'm just curious. May I ask where this broadcast is coming from? Where in the world you are?
I'm in Australia.
I'll be darned. Okay, I wondered because of the timing. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some technology courses, and I'm looking at some of the other presenters, and this has been wonderful. I haven't been here for the whole class, but you do a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you. If you're doing some of the technology ones, you may come across my husband in the technology ones, Michael Plumstead. He does a number of the technology ones. They are always at this sort of time because it's early morning for us.
Right.
And so I'm sure you'll come across him in those classes.
I think we do some of the same ones. I noticed our local time, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock in the evening.
And for us, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, for us, it's bright and breezy. I said this morning I had a 6 o'clock. It was very early, but it was fine in order to accommodate our American viewers. So it's great. But yes, it's a lovely platform. Get Set Up is the most amazing company to work for. They are so wonderful. They help you. They work with you. It's in all my years of teaching and being in business, I've never come across a company just like this. It's awesome. I really enjoy being a Get Set Up guide and being able to do it. Right. If you have any feedback, anything you want to say, anything you would like to add to the class, any classes you'd like to see, please feel free to put it in the comments, and then they will pass it on to me so that I have 18 different classes at the moment, but I'm hoping to do a few more as well. One of my new ones is Boredom Busters for seniors, and there's some lovely ideas in there. And so I hope you really enjoyed what we did today. If you want to get a copy of the recording, please request it at Get Set Up, help@getsetup.io. I will be sending you an email with some of the ideas in it as well, particularly the corkboard one.
So, one last question. Are all of your classes, do they begin with the term upcycling, or do you have different titles?
No, they've got different. There are 4 upcycling ones. There are 4 boredom busters, and there are 4 recycling ones.
Okay.
So that's, and then there's 4 animal ones as well. I do animals of Australia and animals of Africa. So there's a really diverse amount of things to see and do. Anybody got anything else they'd like to say?
Do you do any upcycling or recycling with pebbles or rocks or anything of that nature?
No, I actually haven't. There are some rocks and things in my gardening one, but I've never actually thought about that. I'll certainly have a look at that and see if I can add it to my gardening one. Pebbles, lovely. I'll add that one to my one on gardening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, everyone. It's been awesome. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Hiroko. Lovely to have you in class again. Excellent.
Hi, good to see you.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
lovely to have had you all in class. I hope to see you all again sometime. Have
Thank
a
you. I
great
enjoyed
day.
it so much. Yes,
Enjoy
thank
your
you. It was
day.
so fun. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Pleasure.